Hi, I'm Joseph from IT2102, and for today's video, I will share to you my review questions from Chapter 1 to Chapter 11. So, let's get started. So, first question. What are the different sizes of networks? So, there are different sizes of networks. So, the answer is, different sizes of networks are small home networks, home office networks, medium to large networks, and lastly, worldwide network. So, what are the types of clients and servers? So there are types of clients and servers. So three types of clients and servers are file client and server, web client and server, and lastly is email client and server. So this one, what is an end device? So, give examples of an end device. So answer, an end device is either the source or destination of a message transmitted over the net. Examples of an end device are desktop computer, laptop, printer, IP phone, wireless, tablet, and telepresence endpoint. So that is about the end device. So what are intermediary devices? Give an example. So intermediary devices connect the individual end devices to the network and can connect multiple individual networks to form an internetwork. The examples are wireless router, LAN switch, router, multi-layer switch, and firewall appliance. So, one of the operating system parts, it is the physical part of a computer including underlying electronics. So these are the choices: hardware, kernel, and shell. So, answer is A, hardware. So hardware is one of the operating systems. So it is the physical part of a computer including underlying electronics. So the two the two the two other choices are shell. To define shell is the portion that interfaces with applications and the user. And lastly, kernel, the portion of the OS that interacts directly with computer hardware. So this is a physical management port that provides out-of-band access to a Cisco device. Out-of-band access refers to access via a dedicated management channel that is used for device maintenance purpose only. So the choices are Telnet, Secure Shell, SSH, and Console. So what do you think what do you think would be the answer? So the answer is C, Console. So to define the other two choices, so secure shell SSH. So SSH is a method for remotely establishing a secure CLI connection through a virtual interface over a network. And then Telnet. So Telnet is an insecure method of remotely establishing a CLI session through a virtual interface over a network. Unlike SSH, Telnet does not provide a securely encrypted connection. User authentication, passwords, and commands are sent over the network in plain text. So, in global config command, what command you will use if you want to encrypt password? So, so in configure, so what command you will use if you want to encrypt password? So, choices are enable secret, service password encryption, and banner MOTD. So, what do you think will be the answer? So, the answer is B, service password encryption. So that 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 is the command you will use in order to encrypt password. So to define the two other choices, enable secret to secure privileged exact access. So again, so enable secret is for the password also. So banner MOTD to create a banner message of the day on a network device. So function of banner MOTD. So will will warn the unauthorized user of the device. So someone wants to change something to their device, so it's better to be secured and put some banner MOTD. So it is the process of converting information into another acceptable form for transmission. So choices are encoding, encapsulation, and then encapsulation. So what do you think? Do you think that will be the answer? So answer is A, encoding. So to define it, the two other choices, so encapsulation, so process of placing one message format inside another message format. So the encapsulation, the reverse process of encapsulation. So it means that encoding is the process of converting information into another acceptable form for transmission. So it is an internet standard that is responsible for the overall management and development of internet standards. So these are the choices: ISOC or Internet Society, IAB or Internet Architecture Board, so EETF, Internet Engineering Task Force. So what do you think will be the answer? So the answer is B, Internet Architecture Board. So define the two other choices. Internet Society means they are responsible for promoting the open development and evolution of Internet use throughout the world. Internet Engineering Task Force or IETF develops, updates, and maintains Internet and TCP/IP technologies. This includes the process and documents for developing new protocols and updating existing protocols, known as requests for comments (RFC) documents. So it means that responsible for the overall management and development of Internet standards is the Internet Architecture Board. So it is responsible for taking the formatted segments from TCP, encapsulating them into packets, assigning them to the appropriate addresses, and delivering them to the destination host. So these are the choices: HTTP, TCP, Ethernet, and IP. So what do you think guys will be the answer? So the answer is D, IP. So to define the other three choices, so HTTP is an application protocol that governs the way a web server and web client interact. HTTP defines the content and formatting of the requests and responses that are exchanged between the client and server. So TCP is a transport protocol that manages the individual conversations. TCP divides the HTTP messages into smaller pieces called segments. Ethernet is a network access protocol that describes two primary functions: communication over a data link and the physical transmission of data on the network media. So it means that IP is responsible for taking the formatted segments from TCP, encapsulating them into packets and assigning them the appropriate address and delivering them to the destination host. Let's proceed to the other. It is a type of connection that uses radio waves. Devices in a wireless network must be connected to a wireless access point. So the answer is on the already no question. So the answer will be A, wireless connection. So to define the other two choices, physical connection can be a wired connection using a cable, Ethernet and ICs so used for wired connection. So it is a basic form of network media that the signals are patterns of light. Choices: wireless media, copper cable, and fiber optics. So what do you think will be the answer? Well, the answer is C, fiber optic cable. So for me, fiber optic cable the fastest than the two. So copper cable, the signals are patterns of electrical pulses. So the signals are patterns of microwave transmission. So that's the wireless. A great example of wireless is Wi-Fi on your cell phone. So open your Wi-Fi and connect into the Wi-Fi. So it is the measure of the transfer of bits across the media over a given period of time. So bandwidth or throughput. So the answer is throughput. So throughput is the measure of the transfer of bits across the media over a given period of time. So bandwidth to define is the capacity of a medium to carry data. So this is one of the primary functions of data encapsulation, wherein the framing process provides important delimiters that are used to identify a group of bits that make up a frame. These delimiting bits provide synchronization between the transmitting and receiving nodes. So choices: frame delimiting, addressing, and error detection. What do you think guys will be the answer? So the answer is frame delimiting. So to define the other two choices, so addressing is the encapsulation process contains the layer 2 PDU and also provides for data link layered addressing. So error detection, each frame contains a trailer used to detect any errors in transmissions. So in Ethernet frame fields, what is the minimum maximum Ethernet frame size? So A 32 to 10 to 1028 bytes, B 60 to 1990 bytes, so C 64 to 1518 bytes. So the answer here is C 64 to 1518 bytes. So this includes all bytes from the destination MAC address field through the frame check sequence FCS field. So that is the minimum is 64 and the maximum is 1518 bytes. We'll differentiate full duplex to half duplex. So this one, so answer. So in full duplex, both ends of the connection can send and receive simultaneously, while in half duplex, only one end of the connection can send at a time. So that are the different differentiation of half duplex and full duplex. So sender doesn't know if the receiver is listening or message arrive on time. So receiver doesn't know data is coming. What type of IP protocol characteristics is it? So A, IP connectionless, B, encapsulating IP, C, IP best effort delivery, and D, IP media independent. So what do you think? This will be the answer. So the answer is A, IP connectionless. So to define the other three choices, encapsulating IP. Segments are encapsulated into IP packets for transmission, and the network layer adds a header so packets can be routed to destination. So IP best effort delivery. No guarantees of delivery are made. So IP media independent. IP can travel over different types of media. So it performs the post and load the Bootstrap program, locate and load the Cisco iOS software, and locate and load the startup configuration file or enter setup mode. Choices boot set files, router boot up process, show version out. So guys, what do you think will be the answer? So it's A. It's B rather. Router boot up process. So the define boot set file, so iOS image file stored in the flash contains the iOS. Flash also stores other system files. The NVRAM stores configuration parameters. So version output, the so version command is very useful. It provides information on the amounts of memory installed what iOS images was loaded during boot and more. So it is used to identify the network host portion of the IPv4 address. So A, IPv4 address, default gateway, or subnet mask. What do you think guys will be the answer? So the answer is C, subnet mask. So subnet mask is used to identify the network host portion of the IPv4 address. Keep that in mind. So IPv4 address, unique IPv4 address of the host. Default gateway identifies the local gateway. So local router interface, for example, IPv4 address to reach remote networks. Is the process of sending a packet from one host to a selected group of hosts, possibly in different networks. So, choices unicast, multicast, or broadcast. So what do you think guys will be the answer? So the answer is B, multicast. So multicast is the process of sending a packet from one host to a selected group of hosts, possibly in different networks. So to define the other two choices, so unicast the process of sending a packet from one host to an individual host. So it's one-to-one. So broadcast the process of sending a packet from one host to all hosts in the network. So it's one to many. It allows IPv4 and IPv6 to coexist on the same network segment. Devices run both IPv4 and IPv6 protocol stacks simultaneously. What do you think guys will be the answer? Tunneling, translation, or dual stack? So let's reveal it. So the answer is C, dual stack. So dual stack allows IPv4 and IPv6 to coexist on the same network segment. Devices run both IPv4 and IPv6 protocol stacks simultaneously. To define tunneling is a method of transporting an IPv6 packet over an IPv4 network. An IPv6 packet is encapsulated inside an IPv4 packet similar to other types of data. Translation network address translation 64 allows IPv6 enabled devices to communicate with IPv4 enabled devices using a translation technique similar to NAT for IPv4. So an IPv6 packet is translated to an IPv4 packet, and vice versa. So this one. So what is the prefix notation of subnet mask 255.255.240.0? So A/22, B prefix 26, C prefix 20. So the answer is C prefix 20. So to get that, so just compute the subnet mask in binary. So 255 equals 1 8 so 255 8 ones again, and 240 is 4 ones. So just sum up all the ones and you will get 20. So what are the problems for large broadcast domain? So the answer is slow network operations due to the significant amount of broadcast traffic. So many issues. So this is one problem of large broadcast domains, because there are many users in that network. So there's possibility that can have the traffic. So will be the transfer message data will be slow. So slow device operations, because a device must accept and process each broadcast packet. So yeah, that's the concept of a large broadcast domains. The IPV's global unique address normally consists of 8 prefix 48 global routing prefix, 16-bit subnet ID, and a 64-bit interface. So with 38 global routing prefix, a 24-bit subnet ID, and a 36-bit interface ID. 28 global routing prefix, 8-bit subnet ID, and 26-bit interface ID. So the answer is A, 48 global routing prefix, a 16-bit subnet ID, and a 64-bit interface ID. So yeah, that's the answer. So it's an analogous to sending packages that are tracked from a source to destination. There's TCP, UDP, or ARP. So what do you think, guys, will be the answer? So answer is A, TCP. TCP, it is an analogous to sending packages that are tracked from source to destination. That is TCP. So UDP provides the basic functions for delivering data segments between the appropriate applications with very little overhead and data checking. ARP is protocol used by the Internet Protocol, especially IPv4, to map IP network addresses to the net hardware addresses used by a data link protocol. So that's function of UDP and ARP. So let's proceed now. So also known as ephemeral ports, these are usually assigned dynamically by the client's OS when a connection to a service is initiated. The dynamic port is then used to identify the client application during communication. So a well-known ports number 0 to 1023. So dynamic or private ports numbers 49,152 to 65,535. Registered ports numbers to 1024 to 49,152. So guys, guess what is the correct answer? So and the correct answer is B. Dynamic or private ports numbers 14,152 to 65,535. And to define the other two choices, well-known ports. So these numbers are reserved for services and applications. They are commonly used for applications such as web browsers, email clients, and remote access clients. So that is well-known ports. So registered ports. So these ports numbers are assigned by IANA to requesting an entity to use with specific processes or application. These processes are primarily individual applications that a user has chosen to install rather than common application that would receive a well-known port number. So it uploads data files to web servers such as form data. So the answer is POST. So it POST uploads data files to web servers such as form data. So to define get a client requests for data. Client sends the get message to web server to request HTML pages. Put, so upload sources or content to the web server such as an image. So it is a message format that require a message header and message body. While the message body can contain any amount of text, the message header must have a properly formatted recipient email address and a sender address. So what do you think, guys, will be the answer? Is it IMAP operation, POP operation, or SMTP operation? And the answer is SMTP operation. That is the definition of or function of SMTP operation. So to define POP and IMAP, POP is used by an application to retrieve mail from a mail server. With POP, mail is downloaded from the server to the client and then deleted on the server. This is how POP operates by default. IMAP is another protocol that describes a method to retrieve email messages. Unlike POP, when the user connects to an IMAP-capable server, copies of messages are downloaded to the client application. So yeah, that's our older differences. It is a device that converts analog into digital IP packets. The device could be an analog telephone adapter that is attached between a traditional analog phone and the Ethernet switch. So do you think, guys, would be the answer? It's VoIP, IP telephony, or real-time application. So the answer is A, VoIP. So it's VoIP. So it's a device that converts analog into digital IP packets. So device could be an analog telephone adapter that is attached between a traditional analog phone and internet switch. So to define IP telephone and real-time application, so IP telephone, in IP telephony, the IP phone itself performs a voice to IP conversion. So real-time applications to transport streaming media effectively, the network must be able to support applications that require delay-sensitive delivery. So it is type of malware that propagates by inserting a copy of itself into a back and becoming a part of another program. So if you're familiar to some viruses or alternatives, so the answer is virus. So I think virus is the most common and sometimes can destroy your laptop, PCs, and even your cell phone. So they define worms. Computer worms are similar to viruses in that they replicate functional copies of themselves and can cause the same type of damage. Trojan horse is another type of malware named after the wooden horse the Greeks used to infiltrate Troy. Yeah. So type of firewall that prevents or allows access based on IP or MAC addresses. So is it URL filtering, packet filtering, or application filtering? So guess your answer. So the answer is packet filtering. So application filtering prevents or allows access based specific application type based on port number. So URL filtering prevents or allows access to websites based on specific URLs or keywords. So packet filtering. So packet filtering is that prevents or allows access based on IP or MAC addresses. So yeah, that's all about my review questions on chapter 1 to chapter 11. So if I hope in the future you can use my review questions in order you to have in order to pass the exam on your CCNA. So yeah, that's all about so that's the end of my video. So I hope you learned I hope you get learnings from this from my review questions. So that's all. Thanks for watching and until next time.